Time for an upgrade. Hi, my name is John. If you're new to this channel, what we do is we research different topics and sum up all the information in a nice, concise video. This will be the first installment of a video series going over how to pick the perfect camera. Now this is going to be for beginners, and we're going to go over some key terms and things that you need to know to make the best, most informed decision. So if you get any value from this whatsoever, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. It truly means a lot and helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get started. Now the first concept to know is sensor size, and I'm going to preface this by saying size does matter. A camera sensor is a piece of hardware inside the camera that captures light and converts it into signals, which results in an image. A larger sensor will typically make for better image quality, clearer resolution, a wider picture, and also will perform better in low light conditions. Now this does come with the trade-off of a heftier price tag and a girthier camera body. iPhones have a 1 and 3.2 inch sensor, but most cameras for YouTube will fall between 1 inch and full frame. Full frame sensors are typically what professional videographers will use, so if you plan on doing this long term, that could be a solid investment. But from my research, an APS-C sensor is the most common among YouTubers. Now on to resolution. Now resolution is the detail that an image holds. So obviously the greater the resolution, the better the image quality. Now camera resolution will range from DVD, which is pretty much outdated, all the way up to 4K, which is quickly becoming the industry standard. Now most YouTubers typically film in 1080p, but that's quickly changing to 4K, and that's because 4K videos will typically rank higher on YouTube's search engine, and also because the image just looks better. 4K, however, does come with the cost of just being a larger video file, and it'll be a lot tougher to edit with on different editing softwares. So if you want to do 4K, just be prepared to lose your sanity. Let's discuss frame rate, or FPS. Frame rate is what makes the difference between the choppy, jerky motion of old silent movies compared to me moving swiftly across your screen. Higher frame rates means more still images are being taken. So if you want to capture fast-moving objects, you're going to want something with a higher frame rate. Now 24 FPS is standard for normal films and many YouTube videos. If you want slow motion, you're going to want something between 60 and 120 frames per second. And if you want something extremely slow motion, like say a balloon popping, that's going to be 240 frames per second. Now in terms of picking a camera, this is going to work usually with resolution. So they're going to provide you different resolutions at different frame rates. And so if you want to do a lot of slow motion stuff, you're going to want a camera that does slow motion 30 frames per second or more with 4K resolution. Better the resolution at the higher frames per second, usually the more expensive the camera. Moving on to autofocus, and that's going to be the feature of the camera that tries to ensure that your chosen subject is sharp and within the photo. Now autofocus is incredibly important, and it can make or break a camera for most YouTubers. And this is because you want a camera that'll focus in on your face or onto whatever you want it to focus on quickly and easily. There are a lot of cameras that just do a horrible job at this, so it's important to get a camera with the right autofocus. Generally, there are two types of autofocus: contrast detection and phase detection. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics on each one of these because it gets really complicated really fast, but just know that phase detection is much better than contrast detection. Additionally, you'll want to look for autofocus that says continuous autofocus. Dual pixel is another buzzword you'll want to look for, and that's just something that's very known and works well within the industry. Lastly, a good indicator of the quality of autofocus is the amount of autofocus points it has. Generally, the more autofocus points, the better the autofocus. Finally, there's aperture. An aperture refers to the opening of a lens diaphragm through which light passes. And this will be expressed through f-stops. Lower f-stops means higher aperture, and so that's going to mean more exposed. And higher f-stops mean less aperture and therefore less exposure. Each lens will provide a different range of aperture on the front of the lens. And it's important to note that the maximum aperture is more important than the minimum aperture. And the reason for this is because a lower f-stop indicates a fast lens. 1.4 and 2.8 f-stops are considered fast lenses, and these are going to be better for low light conditions and to capture motion better. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. Let me know in the comments what kind of specs that you're looking for in the camera that you want. For the next video, we'll be talking about which of these terms and things are going to be most important for whatever type of content you want to create. I did a lot of research for this video, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Thank you for watching. Peace.